from the Kwame Nkrumah studio of Pan-African Television. I'm standing in for your favorite, Kwesi Pratt Jr., who is your regular host for this program. Today, we are actually going to be looking at the current state of the voters register and the 2024 elections. As we know, election predates our independence as a people. We've had election before the independence of this nation. Subsequently, after independence, we have had several other elections, up to date. We are 2-3 months away from the 2024 elections, yet there seem to be quite a number of issues when it comes to the current voter register. So the CRA collective of the Socialist Movement of Ghana, I beg your pardon, decided to choose this topic for discussion today. And we found in our midst a comrade who has always been with us in the person of Richmond Edem Kofi Potoso, who incidentally is also the parliamentary candidate for the whole central constituency on the ticket of the NDC. So without much ado, I'd like to invite Comrade Potosu onto the platform to tell us, what he has for us today.
Thank you, Comrade, for this opportunity. We are in an election year where we all trying hard to make sure that we have a free and a fair elections to move Ghana to another level. But today, as I stand here, the referee for this 2024 election has already taken sides. So if it were to be in the court, we would say that it's Ghana versus Electoral Commission and another, or Ghana versus MPP and another. But here we are with issues after the exhibition of the voter register. There are a lot of issues unanswered. For example, most of the constituencies within the country have held press conferences, and my own peculiar case in Ho Central, we have a very Herculean task. As per the EC's own records that he sent to us early on, we recorded a transfer list of 1,567, but during the exhibition, they gave us a transfer list of 5,659. That's a difference of 40,92. That's 4,092. All these things are going on, and we have not heard anything from the Peace Council. But they are asking our party chairman to sign a peace pact. He's raised 6 issues. At least, if the Peace Council were to be proactive, by now they should have asked the EC to answer the pertinent questions we have raised during this exhibition. But nothing is coming from them. We are expecting answers. If Ghanaians were docile in 2020, this year Ghanaians aren't going to be docile. We are wide awake. We want a free and fair elections. We can't talk of peace without talking about justice. Justice first before the peace comes. Therefore, we are asking the Electoral Commission to come out clear and re-exhibit the register for people to cross-check, because we see that it's becoming the whole Ghana versus EC and another. We want answers now, so that we know that we are going into the elections with clear minds and clear hands, so that the one who wins, there will be no buts. If somebody is on a platform and saying that we have 1,000 ways of winning an elections, it was a way of giving us a cue which we as a party took judicial notice of. So we are also putting our heads together to make sure that we also develop our strategies and be abreast with issues. Therefore, we are not sleeping. In this current exhibition, they gave out the EC's booklet a day after the exhibition has started, thinking we will just be looking on. Ghanaians are wide awake. We are faster than them. Either to it have been, oh, it has come late, so let us put it aside and get the people to go and look out for their names. But now we didn't sleep. We went into the books, had what we call a backward integration into the data, and realized that there is more harm to the electoral data than we think. And if you have a data that is not good, you can't administer any credible elections, because that is going to be the base of our elections. So they have to wipe out all unwanted elements before they re-exhibit it for Ghanaians to go and check. Then if we are all certain that we have our names in the register, for example, my deputy regional secretary hasn't got his name in the register, but he voted last during the assembly elections, and it's the same voter register. We only had a top up, so how can his name be missing at this crucial hour? EC, please sit up. And to the EC, that is, if you want your name to be registered in the history of Ghana, your name can be registered, but not in a negative way. We want it to be registered in a positive manner. And per our traditional religion, when you go to our communities, when they are calling the names of ancestors, they call only the ones who lived good lives. So make sure you lead a good legacy at the Electoral Commission, so that when they are mentioning the names of people who headed the Electoral Commission, your name will be mentioned, but do not jump over your name as having messed up the commission. Therefore, we are asking that you give us answers to the bloated transfer list from Whole Central. In particular, the data that is available to me. We have certain polling stations that we have a lot of discrepancies. For example, at Apati Dome, Hodome 1A, per the party's copy, we have transfer of 11, but USB for 3. Then absent list, we had 57. USB 38. And for Apati Dome Hodome 2, per the party's copy, USB that is transfer list, you give us 15. And in your own exhibition, it was 14. Then the party's copy for the absentee list, you gave us 44. And for your own copy, you gave us 20. What has happened? Now, there's one interesting thing. That is per the challenge we had during the limited registration and the mop-up. We had 209 challenges, out of which 105 were cleared. So in total, we had 104 outstanding. But what you brought to us was 291, more than the total challenges we had during the period in the exemptions list. So we are asking your good office to answer and give us a clean register throughout the country, because my neighbor, that is Adakulu, has also raised issues. Tamale Central has also raised issues. It's almost throughout, but you see the head is in the voter region. That's where we have the chunk of the numbers coming in. You see, when you are doing the thing, you may think you are playing smart. So the people you support in their strongholds, you do certain things to show that, oh, it's a national thing. But we are smarter than that. We know that in playing with data, you also have to skew the national data in such a way that somebody elsewhere in your stronghold will also have a pinch of it. So, but theirs is very minimal. So please, we want you to ratify all these things and tell the Ghanaians that you have done the correct thing, so that we will all come out and say, oh, we have a credible register. Without a credible register, we can't have a credible election. You as the referee, you are taking sides ab initio, which will not help the game. The referee, the linesmen have taken sides because all their utterances from what they say, you realize that they are skewed towards one side of the contenders. But that must stop. We have only one Ghana. We must be fair to all parties so that we have a credible election, which outcome will not be contested by anybody. A credible register will give us a credible election, but a skewed register will give us a skewed election results. That's what Ghanaians don't want. So, Madam James, we are calling on you to give answers to our questions. We have already applied to your good offices to answer us, and by so doing, you give us a credible register and conduct the exhibition throughout the country for all Ghanaians to go and do their verification and make sure that their names are in the register. We have people who do not have their names in the register. I earlier on mentioned that of my Deputy Regional Secretary, Mr. Bright Gay. So we are calling on you to do the right thing for Ghanaians. We are also calling on the Peace Council to make sure that they march to the EC's office to make sure she does the right thing before going to party chairman to sign peace pact. They should get the EC to answer all the questions raised. They will all be at peace. Not a situation whereby you force somebody to sign a peace pact so that the person cannot even talk when the things are not good. That time is past and gone. We are up to the task now. The docile NDC that you knew is far gone. Now it's an NDC that is up and doing. Energized for victory. Ghanaians are energized for victory and a change. So, Peace Council, advise EC to do the right thing. Your long silence is very threatening to the democracy and peace of Ghana. We want you to be up to the game so that we will all enjoy the peace that we have. This is not the time for us to get the youth to mess this country up because of an election outcome that do not favor Ghanaians. We are for peace. We are enjoying the peace we have. Despite the rugged economy that we are experiencing now, as for the peace, nobody can price peace. So we want to enjoy our peace. We want a fair play, a smooth field for all the parties, so that when we are playing, we know that we have a smooth field. I remember growing up, we used to hear that when Kotoko went to Egypt to go and play, they gave them a pitch that one side was flooded with water, and this is exactly what is happening now. And in Yao Asari's play, announcing in the land of idiots, we are not going to sit here for the idiots to make Anansi escape. The idiot has escaped once. Now it's not going to escape. We are now wise and wide awake. So we want you to do the right thing to make sure that we have a credible register for Ghanaians. You are placed in a position of trust as a trustee for Ghanaians. Do your work well. And let us have the faith in you. Do not play or dance to the tune of your paymasters. We want you to be independent. So far, having read about your background, I realize that nobody wrote any of your exams for you. Therefore, be what you are. Be an astute person and do the credible things that Ghanaians want you to do, for which our taxes are being used to pay. Therefore, Madam J. Mensah, we are calling on you from this podium that do the right thing and make Ghanaians have the best of the elections. The change they want, the time is now. Ghanaians are going to change. Therefore, we want you to be the referee who is not biased with linesmen. No. We have not yet even gone for elections, but people are mentioning, pronouncing the outcome with their percentage margin, and you think the other parties will sit down with their hands in their laps. It wouldn't happen. Who in this Ghana will be told that I will come and a chief will tell you that I'll come and steal you at 10 p.m. on Thursday night? Then you sit down with your hands in between your laps and say, come and steal. At least you make an attempt. You put at least hot water on fire to defend yourself. You set your gas, put water on fire, and boil water, and make sure that at least that alone is your weapon that you splash on the thief who enters your room. Without anything in your room, you still close your door. Therefore, we are asking you to make sure that you provide us with a credible register, which becomes our launchpad for a credible election, free and fair elections. Madam J. Mensah, we are calling up to you to do the needful for Ghanaians. The youth of Ghana, we are ready for the change. Ghanaians are ready for change. Although you are supporting a team, your team will go with you. And Peace Council, please, this is the time for you to show that you are in for peace. Call Madam J. Mensah and the EC to order now. Let them start with the good works that their predecessors did. Dr. Farijan, Madam Charlotte said they all did, and make sure that one party handed over peacefully to the other. It's your turn to do same, not to mess this country up. So, whole central constituency, we are asking you to make sure you clean the 4092 transfer list, clean them out of our register. We have asked for the register, the copy of the register USB. You are here to provide it to us so that we can give you the names that are not in the one you provided to us. And please make sure that you give the list out to the parties as stated in the CI, and not a day after the exhibition. In the same vein, going into the elections, we want you to give us the list so that whatever we want to cross-check, we can cross-check them before the D-Day. Not when the elections are going on before you provide us with data. Knowing very well that you are doing a different thing and giving us a different data. We don't want that now. At least the first time we have been able to see something, it means that it's one of your schemes to skew the elections. But Ghanaians are wide awake. The docile Ghanaians you dealt with in 2020 are wide awake now. The masses are awake from their slumber. We are ready for the change. So join the people so that we all change for the new Ghana, to build the Ghana we want. The people of Ghana need answers now. And we ask you to come out with written documents to give answers to the questions we have raised so far. In my constituency, we have raised many issues. There are people who have been introduced into the register. We have asked you to give us the register that you exhibited so that we can point out the names and faces of the people to you. We have had an instance where somebody who transferred to Ho has the face, the picture there, but the name is different. How can that happen? You are the custodian of these data. So if there is something wrong with the data, you must answer for it. Nobody else can give us an answer apart from you. Madam J. Mensah, the buck stops with you. We need answers now.
I think you can do better. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, comrades. I think the message is loud and clear. There cannot be peace without justice. I think that's basically the summary of the message. We're looking for credibility from a very discredited commission. A commission that is so discredited per the own logic of the NPP. Because if you do remember in 1992 or after the 1992 elections, the NPP refused to sit in parliament for 4 years for the simple reason that Jerry Rawlings had appointed all the 7 chairpersons of the Electoral Commission. Today, all 7 of them, including the secretaries, including the janitors, everybody at that commission has been appointed in one way or the other by the current government. So I think the message is clear, and those who can read our history and understand what is happening with this commission understand what you're talking about. At this point, we will call on studio audience to make their contributions. If you have any questions, to put it up so that our guests will make an attempt to answer them. I see 1 hand. I see 2, 3, 4. I see 5 at the back. So in that order, let's have you to the
podium. Good evening, studio audience and viewers up there. Yesterday, I had the opportunity of listening to GBC News, and that's the time I got to know that our current president is in China. And the message he gave to the Chinese government, the people, a lot of leaders were around, that this will be the first time that Ghanaians are going to get a very positive, good, correct elections. In fact, he said it in the plain language. But when you just oppose what he said to what is happening in the country now, then we feel something must be wrong. We know the Ghana Election Watch, there's a CSO, has come out to say that a lot of necessary voters transfer are going on left and right in the country. If I listen, they say something is happening at Pusiga, others somewhere else in the country. And it's not going to augur well for the country if it continues that way. Because I don't think the people of Ghana are in the right frame of mind to stomach the elections if it's not done at the proper, the integrity of the elections are not held properly. Otherwise, there will be trouble. So we'll call on the EC. In fact, not only the EC, there used to be IPAC. So where is IPAC now? Everything is gone bad because of dictatorship of one person. So we'll call on them to sit up so that there will be no trouble for the nation state. Thank you very much.
Good evening, studio audience. Good evening, viewers all over Africa. Thank you for the opportunity. Yes, governance experts have agreed that elections or voting can be rigged before the voting day, during the voting day, and after the voting day. What we are seeing, we see that there's no clear playing field, level playing field, even with preparation towards the vote. So we urge the EC to put everything in place so that we have free, fair, credible, and peaceful elections come 7 December this year. The other issue that I want to raise, the last time I raised it, the issue of regional coalition centers. Avarijan said it is a mechanism for stealing votes during the 2020 elections. So I urge the political parties to insist that this time around there shouldn't be regional coalition centers. The polling stations should count. That's where the elections should be finalized and collated. But finally, there's this Latin saying, si vis pacem para bellum. If you want peace, prepare for war. Trying to interpret that we all need peace. So let's prepare for what will not bring war. Thank you.
Good evening, studio audience, and good evening, colleagues. I have a message for the EC, Jean Mensa. I want to know whether you actually declared NPP during the 2020 elections, because you declared the results many times. This time, we are not going into 2024 elections with 2, 3, 4, 5 declarations. We want just one. If you are not credible, leave that office for the most credible person to enter the office. Now, I'm happy my PC for Whole Central has come to this studio. I want to let the EC know that Whole Central, we will not be ready for this, your clueless imaginations. Try and correct the register before the 2024 7th December elections. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much. One will wonder why a simple exercise like writing your name and then going to vote later will be a problem in our country. I just don't understand why just writing our names would be a problem in our country. And the answer is simply because of the structure of the kind of democracy we run. It's because the kind of democracy we run gives power to a few people. And so everybody wants to fight to get that power because only a few people will control the system. And that's the problem you have. And it is not only created by one party, it is a systemic problem. So every party in government sees the AC to be a saint, and every party in opposition sees the AC to be troublesome or to be favoring one party. And that is a problem. And it's because power is not concentrated in the hands of the working people of our country. And that is the problem. The other issue is that going into the election year, there will be a problem of, or there will be a campaign and calls for peace. I think as young people, we must rechannel our energy to ensuring that right things are done, instead of just calling for peace. It's good to call for peace, but until right things are done, you cannot have peace. Thank you very much.
Good evening, comrades. I'm very much concerned about this election. Some few weeks ago, there was a biometric machine that was being found in one of the citizens in his home. When they approached the person, I think it came on news that it has been unauthorized possession of biometric verification machine. We are in the same country. This person, where did he get the things from? It raises a lot of questions about the fact that how we are going to have this election, whether it's going to be free and fair. If it's going to be free and fair, how come that somebody who doesn't have any authority about possessing, a verification machine gets hold of one? it raises a lot of questions. If I were to be the MP or the candidate contesting for election in Isama Dweji, in fact, I will make sure that they give us a clear reason why that thing gets hold of that person. It raises a lot of security questions. Do we think that if table should turn and that same person is another person in political party, how are we going to treat that? Are we going to be silent about it? I'm calling on the youth of this country that whatever decision that we take will boil down to us. Anything that this decision we are going to take in this 7th December will boil down to us. So we should think twice when we take decision of following these political people, because they don't care about who we are. What I think is that we should fight for our future. And fighting for our future is making sure we vote wisely. Thank you, comrades.
Thank you very much, comrades. We're very grateful for your contributions. It appears most of them, or almost all of them, are contributions rather than questions. At this juncture, we'll take a few messages from our viewers at home and in the offices through our social media platforms. So, Gina Johnson, if you have some messages, please come to the podium.
Good evening, viewers. I'll be reading some messages from our various social media channels. Well, because today's topic is a sensitive one, we have many messages, so I'll be reading just a few of them. So kindly bear with me. So I'll take this lengthy one first. This is from Edem in Likpe from the Guan district. He says, "My dear brothers and sisters, the only obstacle between us and triumph is the righteousness of the Electoral Commission." He goes on to say, "The voters' register demands a thorough and forensic examination to guarantee its precision. What value is democracy if the Electoral Commission can be compromised? Jean Mensa is warned that her appointment is not a license to subvert the will of the people. We are vigilant and watching her every step. Jean Mensa may have denied the Guan people a parliamentarian for 4 years, but she should not dare to deny the will of majority of Ghanaians." He goes on to say, "Jean Mensa will be compelled to be the vanguard of our democracy, upholding to its integrity. And on December 7th, our most promising choice for a brighter tomorrow is the John and Jane ticket." Thank you very much. And this is once again from Edem in the Guan district. This is from Suleiman, and he says, "Good evening to you all. I'm watching you live from Volta region in Ho. Thanks for watching, and always keep your dial on Pan African TV." I'll also take a few comments from our Facebook page. So this is from Wisdom Akom. He says, "I support the call by the NDC for a forensic audit of the voters register. It's very important. The EC cannot and never protect and manage its own data." He goes on to say, "The EC have to sit up and work more harder for us to have a free and fair election." This is also from Fidel Agbeko. He says, "The EC is not someone we can trust. The institution, which is supposed to be independent, now has been for the NPP foot soldiers. NDC must focus their eyes on this woman because she don't know her job as the commissioner." Well, one last message also from our Facebook page, and he says, "We need a credible register for a free and fair elections." That's once again from Wisdom Adum. So this is from Kweku. He says, "Whilst today's discussion on the voters register was informative, it didn't fully address the concerns many citizens have about the transparency of the process." Well, okay, so this is also from Ajwa. She says, "I found today's program on the voters register very engaging. A credible voters list is key to ensuring that every vote counts in the 2024 elections." Thank you once again, Ajwa, for your comments. This is also from Sewa. She says, "The program touched on important issues, but there was a lack of concrete solutions regarding the challenges with the voters register. The guest provided a lot of information, but it felt like more focus was needed on how to fix the persistent problems. I hope for future discussions there will be more actionable steps. Thank you for your message, Sewa. And this is from Kofi. He says, the focus on the voters register in today's discussion was timely and essential. With the elections fast approaching, it's crucial that the register is accurate and inclusive. He goes on to say thank you to Pan-African TV and thank you to the guests for emphasizing the importance of this issue. Well, the messages keep coming, so I'll read just 2 more and then I'll be done with the messages. This from now and then. She goes on to say, the program today covered the voters register well, but it seemed to avoid the elephant in the room, the possibility of political interference. The guest analysis was thorough, but there was little mention of how to safeguard the register from manipulation. I was hoping for a more robust discussion from this point. One last message and I'll be done for today. This from Peter. He says, the topic of the voters register was incredibly important and today's program covered it comprehensively. Ensuring its accuracy is key to a successful election. Thank you very much, our viewers out there. Always keep your eye on Pan-African TV till we meet next week. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Junior Johnson. You did justice to it. Before we draw the curtains down, I'd like to call on our lead speaker to come back to the studio, to the podium, if he has any last words, because it appears that most of the comments are more of contributions rather than questions. So, Mr. Potiso, if you can come back to the podium.
Thank you very much, moderator. I just want to say something in line with what the first person who stood here said, that the president, he realized the president was in China, and he was saying that this election is going to be the best election so far. We have a president who says one thing and at the next moment a different thing is being done. So whatever he said is he's just telling you that there is a different thing going to be done in Ghana. So take a cue from that. Yeah, he's never been consistent. Ghanaians, this 2024 elections is not going to be a walkover. It's a rescue mission. Ghanaians must rescue the country from an inept government, nepotic one of course, and a corrupt one, so that we have a better Ghana for ourselves, where all will be free. I therefore employ all the youth to make a better choice this time, not a choice that is based on slogans, a better choice that will safeguard your future and mine as well, and that of posterity. And I want to suggest that the name of Peace Council should be re-looked at, because once we are calling it Peace Council, they are always talking about peace, but not justice. So it should be reframed, reconsidered to be Justice and Peace Council, so that they know that they have to talk about justice first, because before we can achieve what? Peace. So it should be Justice and Peace Council, not Peace Council, Peace Council. They have forgotten that justice is a bedrock for peace. We need that from them. They should fight for our justice so that we can have the peace and it will move smoothly. And I implore them to call on the EC and ask her to do the right thing, the needful. If we have (275) constituencies, and in my case you have already padded it with 4,092. Let's say you are using a pro rata method. I have 110,000 votes. And you have padded it with 4,092 votes. Then the ones with more than 110,000 votes, how many votes have you added, Madam EC? And the ones with 40,000 votes, how many votes have you added? Madam EC, please come and respond. Come and give Ghanaians the answer. because we need answers for a safe and better Ghana for our children and for your children as well. If you want your name to remain in the history books of Ghana so that people will read about you, join the line of good ancestors so that your name will never be forgotten in the books of Ghana. The Kwame Nkrumah's, Afrajan's name will always be mentioned when you call on the EC. Anytime EC is mentioned, Afrajan will be mentioned. So endeavor to make sure that your name is also mentioned. Be the EC who would also administer elections and make sure that there is a clean transfer of power from one party to the other without any chaos. That's what Ghanaians are asking you to do. Do the right thing now. And the right thing now is that give us a credible register for a credible elections. Without that, you can't have any credible election. It's just like giving the marking scheme to students to go and study before the examination, before you bring out the exams questions. This is not fair to Ghanaians. Allow everybody to make the choice he or she wants, because that's why we are practicing democracy, not quasi-dictatorship. We want Ghanaians to vote and make their choice. Madam EC, help us to make that choice. Do not sleep with one side and push the other side to the ground. No, we don't want that. We want a Ghana that will be for all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, comrade. Indeed, she will be remembered. People in history, or history has always remembered people for two reasons, either for the good or for the bad. The choice is definitely hers. And I've heard a number of people say she does not know what she's doing. She knows exactly what she's doing. This is an electoral commissioner that was brought into office because some faceless people decided to petition the president on stated misbehavior of the previous electoral commission, who was a wonderful woman working with a wonderful commission. That hard-working woman was kicked out, and she was brought in through an appointment of the president. And if you do remember, people like Nana Bedi Etuo and co were the front runners during the Eswal administration, championing that the Council of State should be the one to appoint an electoral commission. When they got into power and he got appointed as secretary to the president, today I think he's a minister at large or at whatever it is. Nobody is talking about that. They appointed her obviously for a reason, it appears. Fast forward to the last elections, we all saw what happened. She declared election results, not once, not twice, not thrice, but 4 times or even more, and got away with it. You have an assistant electoral commission who says that one of the parties in this election is a threat to democracy, clearly taking a position with the other side. We've had another case where some of the assistants have clearly demonstrated their bias, because we've seen them with party cards, yet they were all, what? Appointed into the commission. So let nobody say that they do not know what they are doing. It is obvious that the Electoral Commission knows what they are doing. What I think they do not know is that they do not know or realize where they are pushing this country into. That is what they don't know. And God help all of us. Because it is obvious that the Electoral Commission has lost all credibility. We're just hoping that there's still time that they do the right thing and bring us peace during the election and after the election. At this point, I think we would like to say a very big thank you, especially to those of you in the studio, to our producers, Makiza, Latifa, and the crew who have made this possible for us. Would also like to say a very big thank you to those of you, our studios at home, those of you who watched us from your offices, those of you who listen to us, because this is a program. In fact, Pan-Africa Television reaches more than 54 countries across the world, and we're still working to go further and further. Without much ado, this is your favorite Palaver show, coming to you live from the Kwame Nkrumah studios of Pan-African Television. Do not change your dial. We bring you nothing but the best in education, in sports, and whatever you can think about. So keep your dial locked with Pan-African Television. Until we meet again next week, it is bye-bye from all of us from the studios of Pan-African Television. Thank you very much.
So there's some look fast. Baba, me again. Let's go, Yale. Me quite remember who hear me. Menti me sent my friend doctor when I'm cross over. See what was swearing. She has malaria. Malaria. Oh, what they say with the router? Me copy the absence. A draw in a friend router mixer. Yeah, come on, let it draw. And running router. So
Gaff trap and the draw crew abaso body assay. Wabo router mixer abaso. Router natural products and one router mixer. Yeah, you could see a treat. Router tonic and the router life for a who a finish the bunny, a fin per diem. That's support the immune system. Router dear, Obiasia, FDA, I did drinking crap to you.
The law is pertinent to every aspect of our lives, and so lawyers must not be the backup plan for the rainy day only.
Nothing received from a client should be put in a lawyer's personal account until such time that the money has actually been earned.
It is very dangerous to perpetuate the theory that it is narcotics that leads to crime increase.
The relevance of the law cuts across our business, social, and family transactions. Doubt this?
You can't borrow from somebody who's your client. That would lead to a conflict situation. And that's something that as a lawyer you must jealously guard when you are representing a client.
You have to register your Mohammedan marriage within 7 days?
Within a week of the celebration of the marriage.
So if you don't register it, it's not a valid marriage. Journey with our Law Express panel every week as we confirm the place of the law in our everyday transactions.
Under etiquette rules, a lawyer can terminate for non-payment of fees. So basically, if you don't pay your fees, a lawyer has a right to terminate your engagement.
This is Swift Africa.